And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Today we have the one and only Sean Pero coming to us, a Druze fighter from Israel who's right now currently in Brazil, Sao Paulo, training with the fighting nerds. They don't only breed the strongest fighters, they also breed the smartest fighters. And everybody knows by now, you don't want to deal with the nerds. Let's just call it that way. After seeing what the Pagers did to the Hezbollah, let's just say it was not Conan the Barbarian or Dwayne the Rock Johnson. It was very smart, capable nerds. And I think that's what's cool about the fighting camp that he's in right now, that they put a lot of emphasis on the IQ of the fighter and not only on the muscle of the fighter. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump right in because Sean here have a very, very interesting fight coming soon. So Sean, welcome to the show, buddy.
Let's go. Thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure, man. Can you tell us just quickly, because I don't want it to skip between the lines as we start talking. It's going to be an interesting call. When is your coming fight?
In 2 days.
In 2 days. And it's in Brazil?
It's in Brazil, Sao Paulo, 1 hour away from me.
Wow. So to those of you who are watching right now, this guy is not only a big advocate of Israel and the Druze, he also wears the dog tag of the Khatufim to the fights that he goes. So he's advocating for his country, for his people, and as well, putting himself out there in the cage. So show him all the love that you can. I just don't want to miss this. He have a YouTube channel that he's just started recently where he's breaking down all kind of MMA fights. Brilliant, analytics about the fights coming from someone experienced from his field. He also have his Instagram, so go and follow him. I'm gonna leave the links in my bio of the video. Click it, follow, shows the guy some love. It's very, very important. You said the fight is in 2 days,
right?
And you mentioned to me that you are cutting weight right now.
Exactly. In a few hours, I'll go to the sauna, and we have like another 4 kilos to drop. A little bit of a rough night. Hope we get a good sleep. Wake up tomorrow, weigh in, face off, and have some cool pictures and some good food. The food I'm waiting for. And the water. For now, I'm still not dehydrated. But once I get into that sauna, I'll want water like I want my life. So
Wow. When was the last time you had food?
no, 1 hour ago, and I will have
Okay, so you're not fasting yet.
just like a spoon of peanut butter or something like that, because it's now we're cutting for the week. We cut the carbs and we cut salts and we cut fibers at the end of the taper of that, because those stuff linger to water. They store water. So when you cut them, I drop like 3 kilos in like 3 days without losing muscle and like losing calories. So I'm still eating good calories. On this last day is about still being strong and mentally sharp, because we're gonna be dehydrated. So we're still eating, but we're eating stuff that will not linger in our body, like butters, peanut butters do not have weight in our body, yogurts, stuff like that have a lot of nutritious value and can really help us carry on throughout the day, but do not interfere with the losing weight, what we're trying to do. So that's a good thing.
So wait, a tip to all the girls out there or the guys who are thinking to go. That was a fast instinct, Spider-Man. But to all the boys or the girls who are preparing to go for a date, if you start eating a little bit of peanut butter and you cut on water, you can lose in 1 day or several kilos?
No. It's first of all, it's much larger than that. Okay, the peanut butter is just like the last. I ate salmon also today and stuff like that. It's mainly not having carbohydrates. What you put into your body, it doesn't really matter. For me, because tomorrow is weigh-in and I need to be in a specific food weight is important. So I don't want food that weighs a lot. So if I eat something that is not a lot of calories, like cucumber, let's say, or something like that,
Yeah.
but dense and have a lot of weight, it will linger in my body longer and it will show up on the scale. Peanut butter do not linger in the body for long. So for the scale, it's good. It's not for the body fat. The other thing is the water cut, which we're doing at night. And this one is we're going to dehydrate ourselves. I do not recommend anybody do it. I will be 66 kilos for just a few moments until they let me drink and say, okay, you're good to go. and so not that, but I know that like reducing carbs and reducing salts and stuff like that is something, yes, actors do, models do before they do pictures. So if you have like a good important picture without your top on, so it's good maybe to still eat good, but not eat a lot of carbs, like 40 grams a day, not a lot of salt, and you will see quicker.
Wow. Hey, listen, brother, I have here APAC who said, hope to see you in the UFC, brother. And also, I have my Makioni I-93.
Jonathan,
Yoni Minatanya.
he loves the
Will
Druze plus.
say that again. I think you got cut.
He loves the Druze. He's one of us. This is Jonathan. He's from Netanya. I love him. He supports all the fighters in Israel. He comes to all the seminars always for years. Really one of the biggest fans, and he loves the Druze like nobody else. I think one of his friends who died was an officer that saved him, a Druze officer, not in 7th of October before, if I believe. And he says he owes us a lot, and he's really connected to Dallas Carmel and the Druze. And I'm waiting for you, buddy. I'm waiting to eat some pita druzit with you.
What a story, man. Thank you so much, Makioni. And you know what? The Druze might have saved your life. The Jews keep saving our life. You know, we're in this together. We're in this together. And if one goes, the other will go. You know, we really need each other here. And we're seeing it in the Middle East. We're literally back to back, you know, protecting life against those who hate life. But anyway, back to the fight, because people here have been saying, you know, hope to see you in the UFC and hope to see you in the next fight. So this fight that you're going right now is not a UFC fight, right? It's an MMA fight.
Exactly. It's
All
an
right.
MMA ahead of us. Inshallah.
Okay. Inshallah. So here's my question. How important is for you to win this fight? Now, I know every fight is important to win, but what's at stake here?
What did you say? I didn't hear the
What
last.
is on the stake here? Like, if you win this fight or if you lose this fight, how important is that for you?
It's very important, like any fight, but this time it's very important because the fighting nerds are looking. Gian Silva will be in my corner, the UFC superstar, cornering me and being with me there. I know that after I win this fight, I will probably be really official part of the team of the fighting nerds, and I'll go back to Israel for a few time, gather myself some money and everything, and come back here for the future. And this is really one of the best camps I've been in my whole life, my whole career. I got it with a good position here. They knew me before I got here. Not anybody can get into it. It's really a closed group, but I got into it and they treat me like a family. And how I evolved was enormous was since I got here because them and me have kind of the same mindset. I'm an undercover nerd for a long, long time since I was young. I'm a good thinker. That's what I like to believe. And a lot of time in this sport, you don't have people that like to think too much, and it hurts me. They say a lot of times they do, but when it comes to work, it's just being a workhorse, it's just hard work, and I love it. Do not get me wrong, but when I fell into just doing that, I think that's when I downgraded instead of like upgraded. And here they still have the hard work, but it's smart work a lot, and it's very very good combination for me to go up, and I believe we'll see big improvements in the near future.
Yeah. No, I see here in the crowd, we have some few people that already know that they like UFC and they like the fight, and they're all saying, you know, you're in the best team, you're in good hands, and etc. One thing that I've learned about UFC, you know, and I really love and enjoy fighting good fights in UFC, it's one of these sports that it's not enough to be strong. You really need to be smart. It helps a lot, you know, to have good IQ, good fighting IQ. Unless you're Francis Ngannou, then you're like a beast, and then you
Also,
don't have to be smart. Although the guy is smart,
no,
but
like physicality is important, but it doesn't mean that he will not be better if he would be smarter. And he's smart, I know, Francis, but technique can take you some way, physicality can take you some way, experience will take you. It's the combination of all, and it's important not to forget about the tactics and the technique and the smartness and the wits. A lot of times you see the opposite also. People will try to be too smart as a fighter. That's what drove me away of trying to think too much about fighting, because I thought, okay, I'm just thinking about a fight instead of fighting a lot of time, or the things that it's a physical sport at the end of the day. So people try to be too tactical or too, oh, I'm gonna get him with that and that and that and that, and then they get the first punch, like Mike Tyson said, and the whole plan goes out of the window. So it doesn't really matter. But when you're experienced, when you're smart, when you're in control, when you're an elite athlete, then on the pinnacle of that, the technique is what matters, and that's what we want to see in the UFC, I guess. Everybody is a super athlete. Everybody is mentally strong. Everybody is experienced. Now it's about who can outwit the other. I believe.
Wow, that was beautifully explained. When I was in the anti-terror training in the army, and we had a call it an MMA, trainer that was training us, mostly beating us up. I didn't call it training; it was mostly beating us up, but he called it training. And he used to tell us, "Listen, guys, when the fights start, you're all gonna go like this, But the more I train you, this will suddenly become this, will suddenly become this, and will suddenly become this, and sometimes this. And the more you train, then your ideal, what you do in the training, is going to actually be in the battlefield. And I find that's very true, because when people don't know how to fight and they're just going to start swinging like crazy. And when they get more and more, like you said, the more trained you are, then with that technique and the IQ starts kicking in. And that was very beautifully explained. Now, can you tell us a little bit about who I'm doing this whole episode, guys, to promote Sean? I love this fighter, and I love the dude. I met him in real life in Tel Aviv, such a humble and cool guy. And I just really want to get as much support, because I tell you what, you can be the best fighter, but if you're the best fighter and you have also people cheering for you, people standing in your corner, it gives that person a lot of power, and also give the algorithm a lot of push. So let's say his fight now goes and there's a lot of people watching it. That will definitely help, at least to my humble opinion. So I encourage everyone who's watching this, go follow, go see the fight when it comes and everything. So can you tell us a little bit about the opponent that you're going to be facing?
I'll be facing Renan Alejandro, if I'm pronouncing it correct. He's a fighter from the Amazonas. They bred fighters that are very tough. I don't know a lot about this kid. I know that I saw two of his fights. I saw some patterns that I might need to be aware of, and I think it's a fight of patience, of control, and letting everything flow from there. And I believe that's what he will bring. I believe he will bring toughness. I believe he will bring a little bit of chaos, maybe, but it won't be something sustained. And I believe he will give me a lot of tails early on. And it's about me to not make it a brawl, because I think that a brawl would be the best thing for him. I need to be tactical in there, and I need to pick my shots and open my eyes. And I think that I can win this fight on the feet and on the ground. Just be there and be like water. Because if I will try and just go one way or the other, or have some tunnel vision, I don't know if I will lose because of that. But I know that my performance will be much better if I will be much more in there and immersed in the situation. So that's about it.
You're probably also increasing the chance when you enter a brawl of just a punch, a lucky punch catching you. And every greatest fighter can fall from a lucky punch, right? So
Yeah,
is that
don't want
true?
to. Yeah, of course it is true. It's 4 ounce gloves, and people are swinging, especially Brazilians. They like to swing. Brazil comes from Brazil and the ground game. But when you see the fights here, they're swinging hard, and they're trying to knock each other out. And a knockout is very in the air always. It might always happen. I don't see that happen, but I believe that I will handle whatever is thrown at me, even if it will be hard, even if I made a small mistakes. I believe I will recalibrate, and I'll get through everything. But to be honest, like I said, brawl is his only chance, and this is not a good way to enter a fight. I think
Hmm.
that
I'm sorry.
if that's your only weapon, because
Yeah.
it will be only good if I lose my patience, and this is not good. Like, it's on
Hmm.
me.
All right, I see. I'm just excited that I'm seeing, a Druze Israeli MMA fighter wearing "Bring Them Home Now" Israeli flag, the Druze flag. I've never really thought that, it was not never in my even agenda that because I was watching UFC for a long time. I enjoyed it. but I never really thought that I'll be talking to possibly one day a UFC fighter and hopefully UFC champion, sitting in front of me and wearing these uniforms. I want to show you guys just a quick video of a little bit of Sean's early career. So we're going to jump right in. I took the music down because otherwise copyright.
Okay, in Israel, this fight.
This fight was in Israel. So here you submitted the guy?
Yeah. Here I knocked out a guy in Spain.
Was that a flying knee?
A flying knee and then a liver shot with a middle kick. That's in Spain, in Madrid.
Ooh, here you go. Here you go. How old were you there?
23, maybe 20.
23. Already coming with.
That's in Liverpool with Curtis Campbell, the biggest prospect in UK right now.
Really?
Curtis Campbell is a good fighter. We'll meet again in the future. This Pablo Vargas, the cunt, sorry, that took steroids before our last fight. That's in Vegas. So, yeah.
So that was in Vegas. Now you said that was the guy that was the prosper in the UK.
Yeah, Curtis.
Did you win that fight? Did you lose that fight? Tied? How was it?
That was my first loss, a decision in his hometown, in his home league. Everything really hurt me, but I knew the guy. I know he's a big prospect. It happened just immediately after 7th of October. It was very hard for me, also emotionally. First time in the US doing my camp, flying to the US, then flying to Liverpool. Still don't have my team around me. And he's a young veteran, like you can say. He's a young veteran. He gave me a lot of lessons. I knew he was technical. I was on the side that is trying to brawl on this one because that was my better chance. And in the future, I believe we will meet again, and this time we will not leave it to chance.
Amen. Amen. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the camp. Here, I'll show you guys just a quick video to understand. So Sean right now is in a training camp in Brazil. Fighting nerd. That was silver, right? Man, I'm getting tired just watching you do this.
End of
Wait, we couldn't hear you. What?
That was at the end of like a 15-minute circuit, 3 rounds of 5 minutes. We finished with 30 seconds on the ground and pound as hard as you can when you don't have any more power. Simulating, you need to finish a fight. So, yeah.
So that was you when you were exhausted already, have no power.
That was the end. That was the really third.
Oh my God. You guys are beasts. Let's just finish this video. Wow. So how helpful do you feel that a training camp like this is for an MMA fighter?
What do you mean? I didn't hear the beginning.
How helpful do you feel like a boot camp like this is for an MMA fighter coming to a fight?
Training camp is a must. There is a saying in the fight game that we're always full year round. We're in a training camp, but for me, it's not like that. It is. I'm always in the game, but I know that I need to peak in some moments, and you cannot hold a peak for a long time. And I rather peak in one of the best camps in the world. And I made the Fighting Nerds Gym my home in here. So around 3 months, I'm immersing myself away from my family, from my friends, from all the good in life. Although I'm in Brazil or Thailand or Vegas, people think you're having fun, but I'm just working and recovering and on diet 3 months while training the hardest with the best fighters in the world. Anytime not on the mat, I'm analyzing stuff, or recovering. So just getting better and getting better and getting better, trying to get funds like I got for this one. And it's very important because I could do those camps in Israel, but I believe their benefit will be much smaller because I will not be able to model good fighters around me, and I will try to trust like coaches or people with ideas to try and help me, not a lot of partners around. And it will be a lower step as a good training camp around the world. And for fighters, every fight is a training camp almost, because you need preparation for it. So imagine you have like 13 fights in good camps. These steps because become very, very more big margin. And if you do it, you play it very safe and stay home with the family, with all the noise around and everything, not the best partners. It's a small step. You're still doing a step, but after 13 fights, you'll be here and someone else will be very much somewhere
Yeah.
else. It, you're gonna compete with them at the end. So it's very important to stay in those camps as much as you can, especially when I'm in a good age. I'm 25 right now, so I'm at a perfect age to just keep stacking them. I feel like I'm becoming a young, experienced fighter, not a veteran still, but a young, experienced fighter because of all the people around me for a long time. It's been maybe my fifth camp true, or even more, fifth or sixth camp abroad, really, for the past like 3 years or something like that. So it's half of the year I'm out there in a camp, sometimes more. And obviously, in the near future, probably I'll be full year round in those camps, immersing myself. So part of the sacrifice, part of everything, but it will pay dividends at the end. We're aiming for greatness, for gold, and once we finish, we cross the finish line, we look back. I believe it will all be worth it, and then we can settle down.
Yeah, you don't get to become world champion by being lazy and without hard work and sacrifice.
And by playing it small, you can work hard. Play it small, working hard, timidly, in a place that don't help you grow too much. Then it will be
Yeah,
for.
yeah. Maybe if you don't mind telling us how much the training camp like this usually cost a fighter, and what's the, because I know that you have to do it by yourself. You have to pay for it yourself, and also if you want to devote yourself for a camp like this, you probably, it's better that you're not working a side job right now, doing deliveries or something, because you need to rest in between and etc. So what's the cost and the sacrifice of going to a camp like this?
The biggest issue at the camp is the unknowns. Especially right now, I'm coming to fight without knowing when my fight will be. So when I got here, in 2 weeks, my friend told me, "You have a fight. Get ready, start losing the weight." I had like 12 kilos to lose or more, and I'm okay. I think that the opponent can. Then I had another fight 2 weeks after. Then 1 month. Then now, like for this event, four opponents have changed. So it's you don't know. I still, until I get into the ring, I don't know if it's finished. If it's like things happen, I don't want to open my mouth, but things.
Hmm.
So imagine if I say, okay, I'm gonna last in 1 month in this camp, it might cost me, let's say, $3,000. Okay, but if I stay 2 months, it must cost me 4,000 or more, 4,500. 3 months, 6,000, something like that. Maybe more. Four months, 8,000. And I'm in Brazil, so it's very, very cheap for me. I don't pay for the trainings. I pay for privates, pay for stuff like that, but I don't pay for the training. And still, it's in Brazil. It's very cheap, and it's still a lot. So when I was in Vegas, the prices go up. Your living standards need to go down a lot. So it might go anywhere. I believe it was never for me less than $7,000, $6,000 to $20,000 for one camp.
Wow.
So for a child, not call myself a child, but someone who is not very old, it's very expensive things to do. And I'm not somebody who works like in a very low paying job, like 30 shekels an hour or something. Yeah, when I'm in Israel, I coach, I do seminars, and it's still not enough. Even with all the push, even with all, it barely enough to cover my stay in Israel. But like I said, I never played short. I never played small. It pays off or it doesn't. I play, and I know that I gain that step every time, and I'm getting better and better and better. And every time until now, I was able to make the cover somehow. Sometimes I had to call the bank and tell them, please help me a little bit. But if not, if I didn't get to this point, I got a lot of people always helping me, like you, one of them. by like spreading information, getting people to fund me, giving me good advice. I had a lot of people throughout my career, just people like you, really, that just took my hand and try help me with big man advice, like adult advice. Because I didn't have all that knowledge about stuff before. I didn't know how to talk to the bank before I started a career. I knew how to fight simply. But then a lot of people want to see you succeed. So they tell no, yeah, no, call for sponsor. No, I don't want anybody help me. No, no, call for sponsor. No, do that. No, do that. No, do this. Suddenly it gave me like an, I'm not living a good life, like in a way that every day I'm drinking beers and I live in a very big hotel or something. No, I'm living very smallly, very like just enough for what I need. But it is what I need just to go through it, just to have this engine, and this is what matters.
Yeah, which brings, you mentioned that before. So anyone who knows people that want to sponsor UFC fighters, MMA fighters, there's several of them, Sean included, that are Israelis, Druze or Jews from Israel, or even, Muslims or Christians. It doesn't matter what. And they're doing a great job for the country. And also, it's super important for them. So if anyone knows people that want to support and sponsor these fighters, hearing this story, it makes me kind of think like, wow, that there's a lot of risks that you take in life. Some are usually small, like, okay, I need to wake up in time to take my kid to the kindergarten. Maybe I'll sleep 10 more minutes. And then I ended up, making him breakfast really fast and hoping that, some German people will not scold me for being late. Usually I come in time, but sometimes I really need to cycle through the forest. So that's a very small risk. But then you have big risks that people take in life, whereas choosing to go to become a world champion in MMA and UFC, and you all see the heroes. You all see Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor and John Jones. It's very easy to see them, but when you hear stories like Sean, how do they start and the journey that you had to go until you get there, you're putting a lot of the baskets in one, a lot of the eggs in one basket, because you need to train. You need to train all the time, and then you need to sponsor it yourself and pay for it. And if God forbid there's an injury, you might get out, or might postpone everything. And until you're not a big name, it's not that easy to find the right fights also. So you need to hope to find a good fight and build a name for yourself. And through that whole time, there's a lot of, does that go through your mind sometimes, like maybe I'm doing a mistake here?
In taking this journey,
Yeah.
no, no, never. This is the best thing I have chose. I chose this to tell people, go follow your dreams, go do whatever, because that's what matters. This hardship, this everything, this lose, this win, this, look where I am. I'm a Druze kid from a village. I have been with nobody around, really, very alone all my teenage years, and right now I'm traveling the world. I've been alone for many places, for Thailand for over a year, for Vegas for over a year, fought in Madrid, in Liverpool, fighting now in Brazil, making friends around the world, talking to people like you, getting smarter. Already I'm the best position I could have ever asked for. So uh, no, no, not one bit. Even when I was injured after my second pro win, my second knockout, I tore my ACL, my got like apart, and I've been postponed from coming back to fighting for 4 years. Every time I tried to come back, it popped again until I do a surgery, and I've been in the corona for 1 year rehab. In this time, everybody forgot about me. I was the biggest prospect in Israel probably at 2018. Until 2022, nobody remember me. They're like, oh, he's just like, hey, he gets injured too much. He's just trying to get out of it. And I'm trying to rehab my knee. Meanwhile, I'm doing the army. Meanwhile, a lot of stuff happening. And I never thought for a second, maybe I'm not doing right. Because every time I'm thinking what's on the other side, like doing a normal job or doing something else or not following this dream, I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to end up there. I don't want to even think about it. So I don't know where I will end up. I get to my dreams. But for me, this is the dream already. Because when I get there, if it's just the moment of having the belt around me, that's nothing. It's the way to the belt that I think I will. When I wear this belt, everything like you're dead and you remember everything. I think then everything will come to me, and this
Wow.
is priceless.
Yeah, that's why when a lot of time when you see these fighters, they start crying when they get the belt. I guess that you keep it in, you bottle it in, and you fight it, and you go through it, and you wake up every morning, and you train, and you skip a lot of fun activities in life, and you just grind and grind. And by the time the sacrifices you made along the way, and so many times you were so close to losing it, but you still keep going. And then when you get there, probably everything comes out, everything. So that's wow. That's inspiring, man. What you just said. Here's a question I want to ask you now when you're still young and before you become worldwide famous and hopefully the first Druze Israeli MMA champion of the world. Who's you, if you can choose one fighter right now that will be your dream fight, who would that be?
Well, I need to think. They want me in bantamweight right now, so it's bantamweight or featherweight now. But to be honest, I want to fight Ilya Topuria not long ago. One of my biggest idols. Love him. But I saw something like it can be a good matchup for me to some extent. I don't know how big he is. Probably is much bigger than me. Also, although we're the same category, but UFC fighters usually are much cut more weight. Also, I cannot talk about weight of others, but they're sometimes 7, 8 kilos more than me. So maybe I'll need to go down maybe a division, but I will grow up to it. But a dream matchup might be Ilya Topuria for right now. Conor McGregor to share the ring with him would be. I saw in Ireland when it was long ago, and I loved him. He's like shorter than me, stockier, angry, and he will promote the fight like crazy. I want to hear what trash talk he have to give me. I'll try to give I can. I grew up with him, and maybe just a sparring with Muhammad Ali. He's big. I'm not gonna fight him, and it's but him for me. I love him so much, man.
All right. And who are your favorite fighters when you were growing up and coming into that sport? Who are your idols? You might call it.
The first one was Anderson Silva, I guess. Everybody loved him early on. Like he was undefeated. He was super good. He made everything look good.
Fighter.
Yeah. Then Connor got there, and I remember I was at school. I was like in 11th grade, and he fought Dustin Poirier, and he talked shit there. He thought he's the first fighter I saw talking shit. Like Anderson Silva was very humble, and I liked it. I am very humble myself, and when I saw him on the mic, I'm like, I hope Dustin Poirier kills him because he was like ranked 13 back then or 15, and Dustin Poirier was fifth on the ranking. So how does he talk like he talks? And he said he's gonna knock him in one round and everything. And I wanted this clown to get demolished. And I opened my phone in the class, and I see who won the fight, who won, and then Conor McGregor won in the first one. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, he predicted that, and then he said like, they call me Pistic Mac because I predicted things, and then he started predicting stuff, and then he had Danny Seaver, and he predicted a 2 minute knockout, and then it went to 2 rounds, and he's like, I said 2 minutes, but I meant 2 rounds, and then he goes to fight championship, and then Chad Mendes to replace Jose Aldo after 1 year build up. He kills him after a war. Then Jose Aldo, it was like a story that I hated him at the beginning, but it's like he caught me there to
Yeah.
watch him get beat, not to win. But then I'm like, oh, he's a winner. He won. So it's weird for me. Villains usually don't win. It's usually the heroes that maybe he's just like he knew something. He just was honest. So I just followed him. I loved him, and I loved his style. I loved his philosophy. I really hated when he started really promoting hard and really trash talking more. Up until one point, it was very almost psychological warfare, which I am very into. Like I would use it in the future, and I think it's very very smart as a fighting nerd. It's part of presence. At the end of the day, you're gonna step in there with another guy, and it's what happens between those years that make the next steps. But at some point, it was about just selling the fight, and it was too much for me, and I started hating that. But like to remember the good stuff about Conor because his philosophy touched me a lot of time. How he talked, the motivation he gave me, how he rose to where he got to, the fighting style he had, the wits he had. He was winning championships in two belts. So Connor was just something special. So he was kind of my biggest idol for this period. I watched all his fights like 50 times each fight, maybe to try to get a clue. And then he faded, and other people started getting in, but they didn't. I didn't attach emotionally too much to them. The next ones will be maybe the fighting nerds like Gian and everything because they're close to me. Even Eli, my friend, my good friend Eli Barzila, when I saw him in Arizona knocking the wrestler out, like, and I was like, wow, this is a hard matchup. This Mexican, he got the knockout there. And again, when he fought a war against Cole Lauren in Los Angeles, and he's younger than me, I remember him coming to me in a competition after my second knockout, and he's like, "Oh, how do you feel? How is it to do an MMA fight?" He asked me. I'm like, "Oh, it's pretty weird with the small gloves." And look at him now. When I was injured for 4 years, he exploded in the U.S. Since he was 17 years old, he lived alone in Las Vegas, fight trained. Now we're training under the same gyms. Very good friend of mine. He gives me a lot of inspiration too. So
Wow, so you have other Israelis with you in the gym right now.
yeah, right now Eli, which brought me here, and Kiberi Gordon, part of the Gordon brothers, just joined the gym. He had a small surgery in his knee, so he was postponed from training, but now he's gonna come back, and we're gonna hear a lot about this kid also.
How many Druze MMA fighters are out there that you know about?
I know about kickboxing and Muay Thai. I don't want to do like no, not shaming. I don't want to just forget anyone, but I don't remember anyone Jews. I remember there was Haitam Kayuf and Nadim Kabalan from Sfia that fought the Bellators in Nokia where I fought. That was very emotional for me to get that win in Nokia because I felt like I was the first Jews to win there because they used to bring every year Bellator to there, and the Druze didn't get the best out of it. So, and it really hurt me because I was part of Haitam camp when I was 16, and we didn't get the win there, and Nadim then, and it didn't get the win. But then I went in there with a heavy heart, and Nokia is a beautiful stadium, and being there and getting the win was something special. So
Wow.
I don't know about active ones. A lot of people abroad talk with me, like from Syria, Lebanon, Abu Dhabi, Druze from around the world, America, but they're not MMA fighters. They're like Muay Thai or kickboxing. There is one that did MMA fights, I guess, which is Mark Hafiz from New York. Friend of mine from I've trained Muay Thai with him in Powerhouse in Phuket a few years ago. Yeah, but I don't really know.
Yeah, no, I'm asking because there's not a lot of Druze around the world. There's probably less than 1.5 million, maybe around that number of Druze
Sao
around the
Paulo,
world.
Sao Paulo, there are 12 million people just in the city.
Just in one city, there's more than the entire population of the Druze on planet Earth. And I'm wondering, have you ever heard or met a Druze MMA UFC fighter from another country? Or I've never heard of. Wow. Well, you're definitely opening the road, for many others, because I've seen you doing summer camps and training camps in Israel for MMA and for all kind of martial arts. So I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of young Druze right now and Israelis who are seeing you and thinking, well, I want to be like him. That's a good role model. Which I, in general, think that we're lacking healthy, good role models in our culture. And I can definitely say that people like you will be a good role model, not just because of what you're doing, but also the personality that you bring and the mindset that you bring to it. Um, you were saying about your favorite fighter. It's funny because I entered the world of watching UFC. Now, I'm not didn't enter UFC because I had a friend of mine who was a lawyer and he was not into martial arts at all. Like at all. It's not the person that you'll think that he's ever. But then he told me, he's like, listen, I have a dirty secret. I said, what? He says, I'm hooked to watching this MMA fight. But that was back in the days when it was cage fights. And I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming on the dude. He says, no, there's this one fighter there. His name is Fedor Emelianenko. And I'm just fascinated by him. So I said, I gotta go and check this fighter because this guy is he's never, I would imagine that he'll be watching fighting sports. So I went and started watching Fedor, and I was hooked. The guy was so mesmerizing, not just how good he was, but the mindset and how he would come to a fight. And that's when I started actually seeing the beauty of MMA, of the UFC, of the mixed martial arts, where it's not only bringing different backgrounds of fighting and bringing it the ultimate fighter, where you can bring whatever you want. You're in the cage. Let's see who wins. It's not a karate against karate, judo against judo. It's everything out there. But also seeing the mystical magic almost that you have when you bring your mind game into the fight and the personality. And I was just fascinated by the guy. So then I started watching every fight of his guy, and he was winning everything. And then I was introduced to other fighters just because they tried. Everybody was climbing up the mountain to try to defeat Fedor when he was the emperor, and then they will fail and will fail, and we'll see like crazy fighters will come and they will just fail. So that's when I started like, wow, I love this sport. I got like so hooked.
Like watching a great general appears, the Napoleon, the Alexander the Great, in front of you. It's very something special about this fight game. It's very smart people, also very tactical people, very strong people, experienced people, very unique characters. So I enjoy it too. I enjoy it a lot.
Undoubtedly, undoubtedly. Now, maybe before we finish, because I want to keep it to 45 minutes, also not taking your time because you need to rest and you need to lose some weight. What's your mixed martial art background? Like, what did you start with?
You tell me. I started with MMA. When I looked for MMA when I was young. I loved what I MMA. Like you got hooked from that. I got hooked from a few films I watched as a teenager. Then the concept, and I wanted MMA, and I looked for it. And when I found it, I started with it. I did 2 times a week MMA, and then I understood it's not enough to be a world champion, and I wanted to be a world champion from the first day. And I started training suddenly 12 days a week. So I trained at all the arts that was in the dojo there. So it was like boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and no wrestling back then. So I cannot say wrestling is one of my backgrounds, but jiu-jitsu and boxing for sure. But it's not a specialty. Then after I got injured, I specialized in Muay Thai because I like the stand-up and I wanted to. I'll do a lot more fights on the stand-up. So a lot of people remember me as a striker. Although most of my early competitions are jiu-jitsu competition, I was a national champion a few times in jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, gi and no gi. I fought abroad. I really did like some EBI matches and stuff like that. So my ground game always surprises people that it's very good, and but I love the striking. So I went to Thailand and started like really expertising in it, and then I fought Muay Thai for a whole year when I came back to Israel, stacking up like 12 fights or something like that, and then I came back to MMA and trying to strike as much as I can while developing my wrestling a lot also. Uh,
It's safe to say that you have to have a good ground game now in UFC or MMA, right?
For sure, for sure. You cannot not have in UFC. You cannot not have anything. Every hole you have will be exposed, but it's everybody is good everywhere. But what do you bring to the table? Maybe a better striking with everything being good, a better because you might be a better wrestler than me, but my wrestling is good. You will try to take me down. You will lose energy. You will shoot because you're a less good striker. You will shoot from a wrong distance. I still can sprawl good. I still can make you pay for it. You will get tired, and then we're standing again. Let's say so. If I'm a better striker, it doesn't matter if and he's good striker, not a better striker. I will not land my shots easily. I will not just walk him down and just bam, I won. If I will try to do that, he might take me down easily. So I need to be good everywhere again. So it's more of a styles, but you need to be good everywhere. Not one good gym is not working about everything and is high level at everything. I believe every UFC fighter you put in any national competition will get a medal. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, boxing, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling.
Wow.
He will get every UFC fighter will get either first or third, between first and third medal in all of them. Is there elite athletes, good effort, good mindset, veterans, just not specialized. That's the only thing.
Wow. And here is a last. Well, actually, you know what, guys? We will leave maybe a few minutes if you have time after this for questions from the crowd. But I have a question for you that I'm pretty sure is going to be interesting for the crowd. If someone is back home right now and is thinking about learning martial arts and he doesn't have time to become the best in each one, which one would you recommend is a good one for self-defense?
Wow. Everything, just getting to the into the world of martial arts, get into the habit of doing martial arts, what you love, like you do for a child. When is the right moment for a child to start doing martial arts? When he wants. Again, like it's you like more wrestling? Do wrestling. You like more boxing? Do more boxing. Jiu-jitsu. You know, a lot of guys love jiu-jitsu, especially smart people. Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. A lot of guys, very high-level businessmen around the world, fall in love in jiu-jitsu. It gives you a lot of sense of protection. The roles are a lot of times very healthy there. You train in a good way. A lot of people, not just super athletes. You know, wrestling might be for the regular guy hard because it's a lot of people that from young age do backflips like that. And then you see a young stud running at you, hey, hello, and he's like, I lift you and like put you down and you break your back. So in jiu-jitsu, it's much slower. I believe jiu-jitsu will be good. Isn't Krav Maga good for self-defense? I never did Krav Maga, to tell you the truth. And I love a lot of the guys from the Krav Maga, but yeah, it should be able to, like I said, like all the others, start getting better. You will need not be a world champion doing 2 times a week, any of them for 1 year, it doesn't matter. But if you do them, you're better than the average Joe. The average Joe don't know any martial art. So it's like we said about the UFC fighters that are better, good everywhere. Most people are not good anywhere, and they think they're crazy good. Like they will just see red and like punch you and you're dead. But it's not this way. Most people are useless, especially as human beings, which is just if you're maybe a very, very heavy man, it will be helping you. And so if you're a little bit good boxing, you'll have better footwork than him and you will be able to hit a little bit and move. If you're good jiu-jitsu, if it becomes to hugging or you fall to your back, you don't panic. If it's wrestling, maybe you can be very, very athletic and take him down and smash his head on the floor and kill him. Krav Maga, maybe you will have more awareness of a few more attackers and knives and stuff like that, and not like a boxer just and then someone stabs you from the back. So I know Krav Maga is good for awareness also, which is important for Israel. Muay Thai, you have elbows. Fists are broken very fast on foreheads, so elbows are not. So Muay Thai is used to even be fought without wraps, without anything. So if you're good with the clinch, with the elbows, with the knees, you will not just be dangerous. You will be a menace. You will start cutting people down on the streets. Whatever you want.
You'll go Tony Ferguson on them. Maybe to answer the guy who asked about Krav Maga, I think Krav Maga is a very good one when you want to start from zero as an amateur. It will get you quite fast to a level that you can defend yourself or at least get out of a very dangerous situation a little bit more efficiently than many other martial arts. For example, if you end up in a street fight and you've been doing Krav Maga for half a year or Jiu-Jitsu for half a year, I would say Krav Maga guy will have a better chance of getting out of the street fight against a few guys faster because they teach you very, very practical, sometimes even dirty tricks, but just to survive. But if you go in the long term, again, if you feel free to correct me, but someone who did 10 years Jiu-Jitsu and someone did 10 years Krav Maga, I will put my money on the Jiu-Jitsu guy because I feel like other martial arts like boxing, like kickboxing, like MMA and stuff like that will probably get you better in the ring than the Krav Maga. But the Krav Maga will get you this more general awareness. They have a lot of dirty tricks. One of the first tricks that they taught me when I was doing Krav Maga in the army was to spit in someone's face. And the instructor literally spit in my face, and I did like this. And while I was holding my face, because I didn't see it coming, he kicked me in my schnitzkin and like this, and then he hit me on my neck. And then I was like on the ground. And then he looked at all the other soldiers and said, "See, guys, dirty fighting will win most fights, And so the Krav Maga is that mentality of how can you make the best of the situation that you have. But if I will go and meet with a professional MMA fighter, it doesn't matter if I'll spit in his face, he's going to break every bone in my body, So probably I shouldn't spit in his face. So Krav Maga is very good, and I highly definitely recommend it. But just to kind of clarify that question.
Want to survive, maybe Krav Maga is better. If you want to beat the other guy, maybe other stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's see if there was any questions in the crowd here before we say goodbye to this amazing guy. And guys, if you have any question right now, feel free to ask. While we're looking for the question, Just want to remind everyone, go and follow his YouTube channel. Go and follow his Instagram. And also, you know what? No, most importantly, your fight. What day is your fight? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
What time?
Still don't know the hours. They say the pro fight starts at 4 p.m. No, I would like to finish as fast as possible, but might be even in 10 p.m. here. So I don't know when it will be for whoever. So it's Brazilian time. Uh, I know it starts at 4 p.m. Brazilian.
All right.
Pro.
I can tell you for sure, guys, that once he would have the fight, send that to me or make a post and I will share it. So anyone here can come and watch that fight. We want to be there cheering for you. Do you have Jewish friends? Someone is asking.
All my friends almost are Jewish. If you put it like a cake, and you put like how much are Jewish, how much are Druze, how much 90% of my friends are Jewish, 85% I grew up with the Jewish people. So here I'm Jewish guys around me, Eli Barzilai and Betty Gordon. So I'm 2 to 1 here. My Druze friends come join me, help me a little bit.
Do a lot of Druze have tattoos or just fighters?
Or just fighters. No, it's not about being fun. Just
My my
my own.
brother have tattoos and he's not a fighter.
Yeah. It,
Well, one of my brothers is not. The other one is, but he's more like a street fighter. Um, live stream. Well, all right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to watch. Sean, thank you so much. We wish you all the best in the fight to come. We're definitely going to be there cheering for you. And I just want to remind everyone here back home, the people that joined lately on, if you want to know more about Sean, go follow his Instagram, follow his YouTube. Also, if you want to help support Sean or any other Israeli blue and white Druze fighter that is out there, that will be highly appreciated. These people are giving their life to the art, to follow their dream, to the sport, and they pay a lot of sacrifice to be there actually, and any help that can come will be greatly appreciated. So go and check them out. Any final words you want to give us here, Sean, before you go and keep fasting?
love you, everybody, and let's get it. Few more days, and just let's get it.
Amen, brother. Amen.